यामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे 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 सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्
Hari Om. As on time, we have collected 44,000 rupees. Another one is pending. How is to pay whatever is pending. So I take it for granted that he is giving it. So we have completed the 45,000 rupees. Now I have to tell you something. Bhandara, I have checked with the office and the Swamiji who is in charge of it. Is available on 24th, the Sunday. I think the Bhandara is between 11 and 12. Now that we have a lot of participants, I will give you certain suggestions on how to go about it. The way of participation in Bhandara is to serve the sadhus by whatever is the food that is available. That anybody can. Ladies are not allowed to serve as per my knowledge. I may be wrong. To best of my knowledge, ladies are not allowed to serve. Pardon?
If I may ask, what is the reason for that?
I think I should ask Swamiji. I am not a Swamiji to tell you that. I don't know, to be very frank with you. Number two, there are certain procedures to serve also. That also I should explain. Once you take the bucket, you should not keep it down. Number one. Number two, you have to see their leaves and serve. You should not ask them, can I put something? These are all the restrictions generally in Bhandaras, just for your information. The main activity of Bhandara is serving the food for the sadhus and also giving dakshana on our behalf. So, out of the congregation, let us pick 4 or 5 people who can give the dakshana, because the Swamiji who is in charge will be having the cash and he will be giving to each and everyone. Near them, we can stand and give it to the sadhus. So, if 4 or 5 people can give their name, they can come on that day and can give the dakshina. Say 10 or 15 people each, and that will be totally 100 people. So this is what it is all about. And of course, food, they have, I think they have a choice. Either you have a kheer or a jalebi. So I think that we will leave it to them decide, because yesterday you people have tasted jalebi. That is for the Bhandara which was held yesterday. I was told there is a Bhandara tomorrow also. We should see what they serve tomorrow. So accordingly, we can select. Any questions, please? You are welcome to ask any questions. Time is generally between 11 and 12 is the Bhandara. We will talk to Swamini ji on that day. We will ask her to keep the session between 3:30 and 4:30 on that day. So another half an hour, then Swamiji will take over the class at 5 o'clock. That's what my suggestion is. We should request Swamiji to postpone that class alone. Swamiji sir, Swamiji, we are hoping to have a Bandara on Sunday. Bandara is between 11 and 12. So we may have to postpone between 3:30 and 4:30. Can it be done? There should be no problem. I think chanting Swamiji is also here. Am I right? How can we adjust that, please? Okay. I think that is better. Let Swamiji decide. Any questions, please? Thank you.
ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वबन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकमहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वबन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये शांति मंत्र ओम आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मामा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदैव सौम्यसीद एकमेवाद्वितीयम् That Sat is Egam Eva Advitiyam. Sat or existence is one without a second. We say in the morning, Ekam Eva Advitiyam. These three words are meant to negate the threefold divisions that we see. We experience threefold divisions. And so what's the actual exclusion? One thing is not the other. It's called division. Like heat is not cold. Victory is not defeat. Honor is not dishonor. It's mutually opposed pairs or opposites. One thing excludes the other. As Swami used to say, the chair excludes the table. Chairness doesn't have tableness. Table has tableness, doesn't have chairness. This is the kind of creation that we find. In this, that which sustains the entire creation, which is the basis of the entire creation, which is the truth of the entire creation. Says, Mai Saramidam Protam Sutre Maniganaiva. Lord Krishna says that I see the universe just as a thread sustains all the beads in a necklace or a garland, so the entire universe. Just as one thread passes through all the variety of beads, so one passes through all the variety of names and forms. Because every bead is different from every other bead, every name and form excludes other names and forms apparently, but all of them are supported by, or they are all superimposed upon one non-dual. That's the important. What we see is all this, and usually that is taken to be the reality. Your life is based on taking a real the divisions that divisions will bring about conflict. Well, what you are is what you are, and what I am is what I am. So you are not what I am, and I am not what you are, and that's what creates a background. All this requires to shift the attention. Yes, ornaments like bangles seems to exclude a chain and so forth, and from them inform the content. That's what the Upanishad is inviting us to do. That yes, we perceive at the level of sense organs, we perceive duality, the divisions. But shift the attention from the apparent name and form to the very substrate of name and form, which is where is one non-dual. In that sense, nothing else. From one standpoint, everything is different from everything else. From another standpoint, nothing is different from anything else. And which is the real standpoint? Is right. Is the division duality right or non-duality right? Well, what is right and what is wrong? Or vacharambhanam, what is mithya, what is apparent, what can be negated? All this duality, divisions can be negated. We regularly negate all of these when we are fast asleep. When in the state of deep sleep, there is no duality or division. All divisions have merged into its cause. Or even the waking state also we can do that. Because the divisions are perceived at the level of sense perception. at the level of mind. If we are able to withdraw our attention and we withdraw our sense organs, which we have freedom to do, as Mandukya Karika says, the universe is nothing but the pulsations of the mind. If mind stops pulsating, mind stops vibrating or pulsating, there will be no duality. So, we have to withdraw our attention from the sense perception of the mind, quieten them, then there's no duality. Even if you don't do that, you can see the fact that because we do experience the gold when we experience the ornament. So we do experience Sat or exists non-duality when we are experiencing duality. The important thing is that we always experience non-duality because that is self-revealing, self-existing. You cannot but not experience it. So make a note of that. Just as we do experience gold when we are experiencing ornament, so we experience Sat or non-dual. Because everything is in fact sustained by is. So Swamiji, name and form is there, and is also is there. Both are there. But what is the reality between is what? Is Satyam. Nam Rupa is what? Vacharambanam, Mithya, superimposition. And so you don't miss Sat if you pay attention to that. If you pay attention, you don't miss gold in the ornament. You pay attention, you don't miss Sat. And how come you don't miss Sat? Later on you'll be told. Looks like Sat is out there. The universe is out there. Sat, the substratum, is out there. But that is how we begin. The loop will be completed when we're told, you are that. Yes, Sat, you are. Meaning, Sat is my own self. So, the self-shining, self-revealing self is the Sat, which is, of course, the Saras. And I always shine. I always exist. Even in a deep sleep also, when nothing else seems to shine, I continue to shine. In that sense, so you have to be just aware of yourself. We miss ourselves when we get too preoccupied or too entangled with the names and forms which are mithya. So that is why when these names and forms are there, but they are all superimpositions, they don't matter because they don't have reality. Doesn't matter what it is. Oh, he's a science, he's a terrorist. So people start, Swami, well, how can I see Bhagavan in terrorist? Don't see. Right? It's a difficult example. So when we say this, Ishvara is everywhere, they start with terrorists. As I first see it in your spouse to begin with, best to start with that exercise. Then you slowly extend the stress the field. As the mind gets trained, then a time will come, hopefully, when you can see it in a terrorist also. Because you negate, because there is so much aversion for certain things that you negate, that becomes, there is so much attachment to certain things, or so much aversion that it is a difficult thing to negate. Right now, let us begin with a simple exercise. And so the Sat shines as my own self, and therefore, just make note of that. And another thing is, somebody asked me, Swamiji, about the Vishishta Advaita. So we talked about these three divisions, Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata. There is a famous verse which is attributed to Anjaneya or Lord Hanuman. He said to have said to Lord Rama, Deha buddhya tudasoham, Tiv buddhya tudamshakaha, Atma buddhya tameyam, Itme nishchitamtehi. The famous Duta, or the messenger of Lord Rama, greatest bhakta of Lord Rama. Raghupati Priya Bhaktam, the devotee whom Raghupati is dear and who is dear to Raghupati. He says Raghupati means Rama. Deha buddhya tudasaham. When I am identified with my body, then I am your servant. Jiva buddhya tudam shakaha. When I look upon myself as Jiva, as an individual self, then I am a part of you. Atma buddhya tudam tvamevaham. When I look upon myself, Atma the self, then I am you. So these three main philosophies exist in India. First is Dvaita, where there is a Vijatiya Bheda, where Jiva is different and Ishvara is different. Jiva is not Ishvara, Ishvara is not Jiva. This is the Dvaita, the Madhvacharya and others, where they accept what we call the Vijatiya Bheda. If Jiva is one Jati, Ishvara is another Jati altogether, and so this is called Dvaitam. Then you go a step further, and there is what we call Vishishta Dvaita, who accept the Svagata Bheda. That Ishvara is one, but the internal divisions, like I am one, but the internal divisions such as hands and legs and my limbs, so Ishvara is one. The whole universe is his body, and we are all parts of him, sparks of consciousness. So one thing that spark is different from fire, other one he says spark is part of fire, and third one says spark is fire. So this is called the third is Advaita. And so, all right, it is not, as Swami Vivekananda used to say, it is not that one is right or the other. You go from one truth to the other, from lower truth to the higher truth. Or as our Bada Swami used to say, you know, Madhvacharya brings you to the gate, Ramanujacharya brings you to the altar, and Shankaracharya brings you to the deity. So, idea is that this is how the different, well, the great acharyas preach different things, taught different things, I guess looking at the needs of the people or whatever. So this is how Sajatiya, but then the truth cannot accept any divisions at all. Truth has to be one. It cannot be two. It has to be indivisible. It has to be non-negatable. Because in our day-to-day life also, when you say this person is truthful, it means that you expect that what he says here is what he says outside. Otherwise, not truthful. Meaning at all places, he must be consistent. At all times, he must be consistent. With everybody, he must be consistent. Then only we call him truthful person, is it not so? So truth cannot vary in time, cannot vary in place, cannot vary in circumstances. It has to be free from the divisions of time, space, and causality or the attributes. So this is what Upanishad teaches. Now you proceed further. Now we say, now the Upanishad describes the creation. So every Upanishad describes creation in sometimes in a different way and in a similar way. We said last night that the intention or purport of the Upanishad is not creation. It is not a process of creation either. It is just to say that he is Brahman. It is in fact to non-duality. The creation of duality described for us to see the non-duality. Because non-duality is the theme of the Upanishad. And that is what only will solve the problem in our life. Advitiyatvam is most important. There is no difference whatever between you and I. What you are is what I am, and what I am is what you are. Only when I come to know that I can be free, or the moksha, unconditional freedom can be there, then there is no division whatever. When I do not feel excluded by anything, nor do I exclude anything, that is when I can be most comfortable. If there is some suspicion that you don't accept me totally, I think he doesn't like me. I think he doesn't accept me. I think he doesn't believe me. When we find some distance created like this, we are uncomfortable. I'm comfortable when I'm accepted as I am completely, unconditionally. And there were only when this unconditional oneness, that is when I will feel most comfortable. When I'll be free from all dualities, anxieties, fears, that is when there is total peace or ananda. So where there is boundlessness, that is where ananda is. I'm not bound by this body, mind, sense complex. I is ananda. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Where one place it says Anantam, is where it says Anandam. This Upanishad itself will say in next chapter itself, Bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukham asti. So that which is Bhuma or abundant, Anant, infinite, alone is happiness. So one place it is Anandam, elsewhere is Bhuma, Sukham. So real happiness is only in Anandam, boundlessness. When there is no boundary and there is total inclusiveness, that's called Advitiyatvam. And there only in the knowledge that I'm Advitiya, I'm non-dual, I have unlimited, and they were boundless. That is the Ananda. Ananda is not an experience, Ananda is my Swarupa. There were, that is the reason why the Upanishad expounds non-duality is because that's what we are searching for. Ultimately, our love is always is oneness, never division. So it's duality. When duality between myself and Laddu also, I don't love, and it becomes one, that is when there is Ananda. And so also when there is no duality in you and I, and that non-duality is at the level of self. Well, you may try to establish non-duality at other levels, which is okay. But ideally, non-duality is the level of self. And less less the duality, greater is the love, and love has its culmination in non-duality. So call it non-duality, call it ananda, call it love. That is when there is a total comfort, total freedom from all conflicts, all anxieties. I feel totally comfortable, all inclusive, being included. So understand that Advitiyatvam is the most important theme of the Upanishads. And this Upanishad explains how what is non-dual. It is called Sat, we call Chit, Ananda, but what it is Advitiyam, non-dual. That in spite of all these apparent duality, what is one non-dual. To enable us to see that is the purpose of this creation of duality. Creation means duality, by the way. So non-dual becoming or appearing as dual. The limitless appearing as limited. The non-dual appearing as many, multiple. It's called creation. So if all there was Sat, one without a second, there was nothing else other than Sat. That means there is nothing else other than Sat now also. We must account for this duality. You see, Vedanta is not satisfied simply by saying all there is non-dual, because then you should explain the duality. There must be an understanding of my life and what it is that I'm experiencing, that I experience duality. In spite of that, how there is non-duality is what is to be explained. So Vedanta reconciles with our life, with our experiences, and explains how, in spite of what you think you are experiencing, in fact, you are only experiencing this. You think you are experiencing that. No, you are experiencing this. So, for that, this process of now creation is described. So, we can go to the next passage. Because Vedanta has no interest in describing duality. What do you get? By saying duality is real, what do you get out of that? You get only what? Limitedness, you get only samsara, you get misery. So Vedanta's purpose is to help to become liberated. And therefore, Advitiyatvam is the prayojanam, tatparya means the purport. See, the tatparya nischaya is very important. Whenever we study anything, what is most important is tatparya nischaya. What is the purport? What is the intended meaning here? And that is why we require a teacher. Because the passage says something. But what is the intention behind saying what the passage says is what the teacher shows us. And so let us look at the next passage. Passage 5. Tadaikshata bahusyam prajayeya iti. Iti means quotes in Sanskrit. Because there are no punctuation marks in Sanskrit. There are no commas, semicolons, whatever the reason. Full stop, I guess we put full stops and punctuation marks we have placed there. But otherwise, you would understand the punctuation mark. So iti is, it shows quote. Tat aikshata. That means that. What is that? That is a pronoun. Pronoun refers to a noun. That's called a pronoun. So noun must have been mentioned, then only you can use pronoun. Is it not so? Devdatta came, then he sat down. You can't say he came, he sat down, he ate. Who is he? So Devdatta came. Then you can say he sat down, he did this, that, and so forth. In between you mention Devadatta also, you don't forget, sometimes the sentence so long. What are you start? Then again you mention. That is for our benefit. But pronoun can be used only when the noun is known. So that represents something that is already known to us. What is that? What was mentioned earlier? Sadeva Somi. That's Sat. Tat Aikshata. That Sat or existence, Aikshata. Saw, visualize, deliberated. That is interesting. This is called Katha. What did deliberated? Bahusyam. I shall become many. Bahut, I shall become many. Prajayeya. Prakarshe. There is a prefix pra, which is important. Jayaya shall be born. Prajaya, I will be excellently born. So there is a specialty about this birth. It's not like ordinary birth. The reason why the prefix pra is prakashena jayata means in an excellent manner will I be born. I'll be born without being born, you follow? It's not an ordinary birth. In ordinary birth, one thing becomes another thing. Here, I will be born without really being born. So birth is an apparent thing. The Huda means what? What is happening is all apparent, appearing. And so, in the rope snake example, the rope appears as a snake. Rope as though becomes a snake. Rope appears as a snake. So that's the model here. Prajaya, may I be born. Now, this statement tells us many things, very important things. Tat aikshata, that Sat saw, deliberated, visualized. Meaning that any act of creation presupposes a desire or visualization, any action. For example, when a pot maker makes a pot, first of all, in his mind, there is a pot. Here he visualizes what he's going to create. You don't start creating and then let us see. Sometimes they do that. You start building. No, then break down this wall. You never visualize. Then you just go on doing it and break it, and you don't do that. First visualize how to build a temple. And that temple is visualized. And then there is a plan, and then there is an actual thing. So this tangible temple that you see is nothing but the manifestation of the temple that was in your mind. Is it not so? And becomes the tangible things. All the tangible things, before they became tangible, were in the form of a sankalpa, in the form of a thought, in the form of visualized thing. So thus this Sat visualize what the whole creation is going to be in one stroke. Tadaikshata. That means that this is a creation which is preceded by visualization. Sacred creation. Serving purpose is a purposeful creation, not a haphazard creation, a meaningless creation. It is not, it is a creation like that part where the part visualizes. Because then when the pot is created, it serves a purpose. You give me some lump of clay and see what that's created. Will serve no purpose at all because I try to push it this way and then it goes inside and push out that way. As a pot is a simple thing to make. So when in US, in our ashram, our art and craft teachers, Swamiji, come on, let me teach you how to make a pot. For children, he had brought this little, what do you call it? Potter's wheel. He took a lump of things, he put it like this. See, if you and gets the shape, press like that, you can. I also did like this, like that. After 10 minutes of struggle, what came out is unadversarium. You can't call it what it is, You need the knowledge, you need the skill, you need the power for creation. So that aikshata, the iksham, the seeing, the visualization can be done only by a conscious being. Unconscious thing cannot. So by saying that Sat Aikshata, Sat saw, visualize, meaning that Sat entity, it is Chit also. Because there are fellows, there are Sankhyas who say that the cause of the universe is matter, Prakriti. They call it Pradhanam. Universe is in intention. So cause also must be intention. Vedanta is just amazingly unique. Normally, you see the universe as matter. So cause and effect must be compatible, is not so? The cause must have the potential, the effect. Therefore, the universe, the product, the karya is in, then cause also must be intention. So they say the matter, the primordial matter is cause of the universe. Meaning cause of the universe is intention. Then there is no tadaikshata, cause of the universe ascension. Like a pot maker when he creates a pot. And therefore, this is a very important contribution of Vedanta. The cause is what? Consciousness is the cause of what appears to be conscious creation. Appears to be unconscious. This is really speaking, all that is consciousness. Because where is the unconscious thing? Cause is consciousness. Where does unconscious come from? There is no such unconscious. What is it? It appears unconscious to you. Matter, when you look at the matter, keep on reducing it to its fundamental cause, reduced. For a scientist, it reduces to energy, which is also unconscious. For Vedantin, reduces to consciousness. Where is that consciousness? It's myself. All of that reduces to me. The Vedanta's explanation of the universe, very important. Tadaikshat. So Ikshat, Sat is the Nimitta Karanam. What is Nimitta Karanam? Intelligent cause, like the pot maker is the Nimitta Karanam, efficient cause of the pot. So Sat is the Nimitta Karanam. Because it is conscious entity, not unconscious. Then says, may I become many? Many. What does it mean? Like the clay becoming many pots and pans. So becoming many is the material cause. Material cause becomes many. In the pot example, the clay becomes pots and pans, etc. So becoming many is on the part of the material cause, and visualization is on the part of the efficient cause. In this manner, by these very statements, Upanishad declares that existence is both the nimitta and upadana karanam. What Vedanta is abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. It is simultaneously the material as well as and then what is all this katha? Then what? It is then it created. So what does it say? Let us read further. Tatteja. So visualize, may I, what did he say? It said, may I become many? May I want? You understand this? The creation is creating something other than itself. May I become man? May I become this? The clay says, may I become many? Meaning that when so many pots and pans there, the clay is not creating as many pots and pans. So Sat said, may I become many forms? Because it doesn't end the stuff with it. All that is conscious, that's all it has. One without a second. There is no second thing, thing. There is all there is consciousness. But indivisible. Advityam. Ekameva Advityam, conscious by nature, is of the and no potential of division. And then it says, may I become me. What is the nature of the division? The indivisible becomes divided. Means what? Indivisible appears to be divided. This is not so right away stated here. May I become many potential, but it's advityam. It's not just one without a second. Devajat, we see Satya, Vijatya, Swagata, Veda all over. The cause is devoid of Satya, Vijatya, Swagata, Veda. Then what is the status of this Veda? Because there is no inside, it is not there, but what is it? It is just an appearance. Just as a dream, I appeared as though the whole dream. Name informs that. Now we went through that exercise. What is name and form? Nothing. There's no in name and form. And so the consciousness appears as many. Means that may become many, meaning that may appear as many. All manyness, all now what we have in creation is Sajatya Vijayas Bheda. Looks like creation has a nature just contrary to the nature of the cause. The effect seems to have the nature of cause. The creation of divisions. The incompatibility can be explained only if you accept that the divisions are only bad, mithya, and not real. See, this is mithya, I said. Then Teja, then this Brahman or Sat created Teja means the element fire. It stands for fire because that's how the fire is what elements. Number one, fire burns, fire cooks, ripens. Fire burns, ripens, illumines, and is red in color. They call it fire. I remember this. The red in color is important. Fire is red in color. And to distinguish fire, you know that if something burns, it ripens, means it cooks, illumines, and is red in color. Element fire is created. Then people dispute this unit. In other Upanishad, creation is described in a different way. In Upanishad, you know what it says? Tasmadva etasmad akasha sambudha akashad vayuhu vayogani. Then they describe the creation of elements. This Upanishad create fire. Creation of air, and how can the air or the space is where the 5-element model, and this Upanishad is 3-element model. So this is wrong. So either you imagine that air is created, then fire is created, or you can say that simply fire because it's space and visible to us. What is visible are the 3 elements: fire, water, and earth, because they have color. See, our eyes can perceive colors. Space has no color, therefore we can't perceive with eyes. Air has no color, because therefore we can't perceive color. What color? Red. What is it? White. Earth has color, which is dark. So therefore, only 3 elements described here. Is not contradict what is said elsewhere, because Shruti has one body knowledge. One part cannot contradict part. So we have to reconcile between different parts. The reason why this Upanishad describes in the 3 elements, which we will see a little later. The purpose why creation is described this way. And elsewhere they call what they call Panchikaranam, meaning that the intermission is through intermission of 3 elements. So that stands for the intermission of 5 elements also. Or as Shankaracharya says, that no prayojanam, purpose or the process of, meaning that Tattva is not in Srishti. Vedanta or big bang of life, we say big bang or small bang or what bang it is. What is the process of creation is not our interest. As an individual, I may have interest. As a Vedantin, our interest in Satyam and Mithya, in non-duality. So whether the creation took place with big bang, that's the model we have, which could very well be. And then there is a evolution model. We don't care. We don't mind. It evolved. But anyway, that evolution comes, but right now let's not get into that kind of. But the thing is that our purpose is to mithya and to show the satyatvam of non-dual truth. And in order to convey that in different ways, that's what different Upanishads describe creation in different ways. So Bada Swamiji is a cock and bull story, he used to say, cock and bull story. And he had counted, somebody must have counted for him. So there are 44 kinds of process of creation described in Upanishad. I don't know where he found it. 44, there are only 10 Upanishads. The 44 means you have to go through so many other Upanishads also. But, he's saying it now. I haven't verified it. But point is that just shows that Upanishad doesn't have its heart in describing the process of creation, etc. It's just to describe mithyatvam of the creation. Teja asrujata. Sat created element fire. Then let us read further. Tejaha aikshata bahusyam prajayeya iti tat apaha asrujata tasmad yatra kvacha shochati स्वेदते वा पुरुषः तेजसः एव तत अधि आपः jayante. So Sat created element fire. This is called Katha. Tat teja aiksha. Then element fire also visualize. Now the this ikshanam continues. So the Sat had ikshanam visualization. That visualization also progresses. Sat visualize the fire, element fire. Then element fire visualized also and created element water. So how can fire visualize? Fire is an insentient entity, isn't it? How can it visualize? Only conscious being can visualize, unconscious cannot visualize. So what do we understand? When Upanishad says that element fire, aikshata, visualize, which means Sat in the form of element fire, visualize. Meaning that when it said that Sat created element fire, which means that Sat became element fire, or Sat itself appeared as element fire. So Sat, which is in the form of element fire, visualize. So visualization is always a part of Sat. It just changes the costume. You can say Sat, assume the costume of fire, and then as that, what visualize is only Sat as fire. Sat as fire, visualize further. What? May I become many? May I be very well born in the same way? With that visualization, it created the element water. So apaha asrujata. This word up in Sanskrit is always used in plural. Apa means so waters were created. Anyway, so in fact, so we find all plural as far as the word up is concerned. But that is just the peculiarity of the language. When certain words are only used in plural, some words are only used in singular, etc. And some words are used in different gender also. So daraha is always used in plural. It's a masculine word, means wife actually. But anyway, the thing is, it's sometimes you have to know some of these things. Kalatram. So Kalatra also means wife, but it's a neuter gender. This I'm nothing to do with wife, etc. But what I'm saying is this peculiar of these words. Putra mitram. Mitram also is neuter gender. Mitra means friend. So, but here, but up is always used in the plural. So apaha, asrujata. Apa is the accusative plural of the word up. Thus, this element fire created water. Element water. What is element water? It is fluid. It is cool. It is color white. So remember, this is fire is a subtler element, and water is more gross than fire. Now this one is flowing, it is fluid, and it has color white. So now this is, and then the Upanishad explains, gives a very rustic example of how water is created from fire. So it says, Tasma, therefore. So on what ground do you say that water is created from element fire? What is the similarity? Fire is hot and burning and water is cool. You see, fire is, how can cool be generated from hot? It's a vapor, and this is fluid and liquid and flowing. How can, so water element water seems to possess the attributes that are quite different from those of fire. Is it not so? But no, still. So Upanishad says, Tasma, therefore, yatra kvacha shochati svedate. So therefore, the water is created from fire. Is the manasa santapa. When there is fire in the mind, meaning that when I'm suffering mentally, that's called shoka or the grief, then water is created. How is it created? Tears. Or svedate. At the physical level, when there is fire, meaning when the water body becomes, because it gets exhausted and hot, then what happens? The perspiration. So rustic examples are given to show how water is created from fire. Don't ask me questions about this because there is no intention of this stuff here. It is to make us understand. How can water be created from fire? Because there is no similarity between water and fire. You follow? One is hot, one is cool, one is vapor, one is fluid, etc., etc. But see our experience. The water in form of tears. When the body burns, then there is perspiration. And so it is our experience that water is created from fire. Then Katha continues. What is meant by Katha? Katha means a story. Oh, you mean Swami, visualize? Don't, this is the purpose of visualization is to convey that it is conscious being. How can it become many to say that it is a material cause, that is efficient cause? That is a lesson we have to take. Then don't take things literally. That's called katha, the Hanuman jumped. I shouldn't, but anyway, so I guess he did. But they built the causeway on water, etc. And so many, and Lord Krishna, so many chamatkars or miracles are all described. I guess they all happened. But people keep on asking me, Swami, how can this be, etc. I said, it is, you have to learn lessons. So Vedanta is a problem with everything. They keep on asking questions. How can this? I said, there are places where you ask questions, there are places where you enjoy what is. Everywhere there are no questions and logic. Why do you put this one achmani here? And do it. Why do you do this? But I can't do unless I understand. You sometimes you understand and do, sometimes you do and understand. So sometimes you understand only when you get experience. So doing is meant for getting experience. Then you understand. So all the pujas and all the upasanas, all of these are meant for getting experience. And therefore they say that you must do it in a certain way. Then it will be effective. So you recite a mantra in a certain way. They are very rigid, they're excluding us. But it's not so much as, but when it comes to karma, it must be done in a proper way. Cooking must be done in a recipe. I mean, you can everything and do. Then otherwise you'll have some product which you can't describe. Like when our sisters used to go for cooking classes, they come home and then they cook. And then when we come home, I'm the younger brother, and she so lovingly has cooked something. Ola, you tell me what I have cooked today. Except I can't tell what it is, because this poor girl has cooked something according to recipe, but then what comes out, God alone knows what name to give it. I said, what is it? Then she tells me, so you're right. Then that's what it is. Meaning that certain things have to be done in a certain way. Why? There's no question why. Why should I, while making tea, you should add sugar. First you boil water, then add sugar. No, I started making tea. I first put sugar. And then before I add water, things become all black, because sugar is carbon. There's a reason why they tell you to do certain things. You may not always understand. And so, then why no Pujari do that? Do it. That is meant for you to get a certain experience. So pujas are meant for that, chantings are meant for that, this is meant for that, all of these for you to get spiritual experiences, for to gain the spiritual knowledge. So that is the stage before the knowledge. Anyway, that's beside the point. The thing is here also, what is meant is this is how the creation proceeds from the subtle to the gross, from firm to the fluid, or vice versa, from fluid to the firm. And then the story continues here in the next page. Taha apah aikshanta bahvyasyama prajaye mahi iti taha annam asrujanta tasmat yatra kvacha varshati tadeva bhuyishtham annam bhavati adhya eva tat adhi annadyam jayate. Just note the last two words. Tat adhyannadyam jayate. What it is? Tad adhi annadyam. That adhi is to be joined with the verb. Adhi jayate. But this is the Vedic style where sometimes the prefix and the verb are separated. In between, some word comes. So, what is adhyadyam? Or, adhyannadyam. If you look in the dictionary, you may not find such a word. Adhi annadyam jayate. Annadyam adhijayate. That's how it is. Taha apa aikshanta. Again, plural. Those waters mean water also visualize. Now water again being insentient cannot visualize. Meaning Sat, which is now in the form of water, which appears as water with the costume of water, visualize. It is like this, when they make a chain, you start with only a little lump of gold, is it not so? Then you beat it up, then you make a rod out of it, and beat it up further, made wire out of it. So what was a lump of gold has now a different name in form. What is it's called wire. Has a different name in form. Then you cut. The name and form changes. What are they called? Pieces. Then you make what? Rings out of them. Then you make chain out of them. At every level, the names and forms change. You follow? But what is the same? The goal. So ultimately, what you call chain is nothing but gold, but you describe elaborately. There was a lump of gold, it visualized that, may I now become a rod, so it became rod. Then it visualized, may I become wire, it became wire. Wire visualized that, may I become pieces, That visualize, may I become rings, visualize, may I become chain. It's not becoming. Gold appearing as a wire, and gold appearing as ring. Then gold appears as chain. The purpose is to say that chain is gold only. Although intermediate stages are there, at each stage is gold which is a wire. It is gold that's a ring and not something else. It is that way it is Sat which is fire. It is Sat which is Apaha or water. And so Bahusyam, Sat as water, again deliberated, visualized, may become many. may I be born. Taha annam asujanta. They create annam. Annam is food, but annam here stands for the element Prithvi. Of the five elements, the Upanishad mentions three elements: element fire, element water, element earth. Since here the word used is annam means food, food here stands for Prithvi because we get food only from the Prithvi. Therefore, so Prithvi, element Prithvi is born, fire, water, and earth. How can you say that earth is born out of, or how can earth be born from water? Again, water is fluid, water is cool, water is liquid, earth is solid, earth is stable. What is unstable? Earth is stable, solid. Water cannot support anything. Earth supports. Water is white, earth is dark. Again, there does not seem to be any compatibility between cause and effect between the water and that. There doesn't seem to be a compatibility. But therefore, it tells us how to understand that the element earth is born of element water. That's why the word annam is used here. Tasmat yatra kvacha varshati. Therefore, whenever and wherever yatra kwa. Yatra means what? Wherever. Kwa, wherever. Yatra, whenever. So whenever and wherever it rains, tadeva bhuvishtam annam bhavati. There only food becomes plentiful. Meaning rain gives rise to food. Water gives rise to annam. Water gives rise to element prithvi. That's the idea. Adhyeva tat adhi annadyam jayate. There, annadyam, adyam. So, adyam means what is edible. The edible food is born from water alone. So, this is the practical demonstration of how food is born of water, and food stands for element earth. So, element earth is born of water. This is the process of creation here. That three elements are born. How is that born? The first visualized by Sat, meaning Sat itself appeared as element fire. Then Sat, which appeared as element fire, further appeared as element water, and it further appeared as element earth. And therefore, becoming man is what? The Sat appearing in all these many forms. So without dividing itself, without becoming many, it appears as many. And thus this whole universe now of three elements is described. Now, this is the name and form aspect. Now there are two entities in this universe. One is the bhogyam, bhoj and bhokta, the experienced, experiencer, the insentient and sentient. So creation of insentient is described. That of sentient also should be described. So next passage will tell us how the sentient beings are born. We'll see it in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmete Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Hari Om